Buyers beware. Market manipulation is always something to keep an eye out for. So here we have the Gundam lfrith from the championship participation packs, and if you look at the current lowest listing available, we got $149.99, and then there's only 5 listings, and going up from there: 155, 175, 350, and 500. Those are your 5 options. If you look at most recent sell, 180, and you might think, oh, 180, well, I can get this one for 150, that's a good deal, but that is the scam they're trying to pull on you. So please pay attention to stuff like this. So first of all, 5 listings is not normal, and so you're going to want to look into things when you see something. Because especially, I try to keep an eye on things, and I'm always looking at cards I might be picking up, and when's a good time to buy. Are they on the decline? Is it maybe a good chance to grab something before it goes up? Stuff like that. I'm always looking, but not everybody is. So somebody might. I'll go into some ways a little bit later on how I think this scam might be trying to be implemented at the moment. However, like I said, 5 is abnormal. If we go over here to Gun Tank, part of the same series, should be roughly the same amount of listings. Oh, no, there's 16. That's more than triple. If we go here to Zaku 2, we have 18 listings. That is almost quadruple. So what is going on with lfrith? Well, it does look like somebody is pumping up the numbers. So if we go over here, and you'll see, steady decline, which is normal. Anytime something first comes out, it's going to be more expensive. And then, which is not dropping a lot, little bit by little bit. And then I think right about here or so, I think is when something fishy's going on. Because you can see there's 2 or 6, it's still kind of hot then, and that's when it first it's still early and it's dropping. Whoops. And then let's see, probably the beginning of November here, we had 6 sell, and then by another 4, and then another 6, and 3, nothing that day, and then 3 more, and then 2 here. So somewhere along there, I would say probably right there is when the market manipulation started, because all you have to do to manipulate the market is buy out the market. Now granted, you're always going to have crazy people that are asking $500 for a card that's not worth it, but so you don't buy them, but you buy all the reasonable sellers. And with something like this that doesn't have a ton on the market, there's a very finite amount of this, so it's easy to do if you have some money. You know what I mean? Is the best way to say it. I'm not saying you should go out there and do it. I'm telling you what to watch out for. And then, so what's important here is these last two sold here at $180, which is going to set the most recent sell to $180. And maybe I would assume that they would only do it once, the scammers, the market manipulators, and then maybe another person actually did get scammed and paid $180 for one of them. It's what I'm assuming might have happened. No way of telling. But yeah, I mean, obviously you can see if a card drops $30, and still nobody's buying at it, obviously there's some people catching on, and they're not willing to pay for this, because this card is every bit of about a $90 card, and somebody's just hoarding them. Like I said, I would not be surprised if all these sells right here from the beginning of November were somebody working to manipulate the market. Now, one reason that maybe they're working on doing that now, and so they've been buying up cheap ones, and then let's see, where were those 2 that sold between the 17th and 19th. So we have new type challenges coming up starting this weekend. And, you're going to be a lot of people are going to be going to shops that they might not regularly go to. So there's going to be an increase in business and stuff like that. And, it's good for stores. But some stores, especially there might be a store that bought all this. Or it might just be a single individual. No way to be able to tell. But if they have these at their store, then, you might have somebody coming in and looking to buy one, and then they look at every card shop uses tcgplayer. They're going to look at some places do it different. They might look at this lowest number here, or they might go by most recent sale. Some places go by market price. Now honestly, that would not be very good for the scammer. That would not be what they'd be trying to do. If it was a scammer, and this is something to kind of look out for at a shop, not accusing anybody or anything, but if a shop was like, well, the most recent one's 150, or the lowest one, sorry, is 150, or if they're like the most recent one's 180, if they're going for that, and you're like, well, but the market price is this, and yeah, I'm not going to pay that. That doesn't make any sense. Then, now, granted, even if they do say that, that doesn't mean they're a scammer. That just might be how they operate. Everybody uses TCG a little bit different, and they think a certain number might be more important than another number. So just don't pay these prices. Don't pay these. If you look at so we look at Guntank here. Guntank is, I think, personally, forever going to be a great card. It's cheap. It has that ping onto it. It's going to be amazing, sitting around $55. Honestly, I'm surprised that lfrith was nearly double this. It was kind of ridiculous to me, but again, the blockers were getting a lot of play and stuff like that, so it does make sense in a way. And then if anything, blockers have been good since the beginning of GDO2. And kind of the past week or so is when Zaku, or well, not Zaku, but the Xeon decks, the aggro decks have been getting more popularity. So if anything, if any card was going to spike up right now that would make sense, it would be the Zaku 2. But if you look, it's just been on a downward trajectory. And I'm going to say this not as financial advice or anything like that. I do kind of think this is a pretty good time to buy Zaku 2s, and probably Guntanks as well. Let's take a look at this as well. Not as steep of a decline, but I think everybody knows that Guntank is going to be a very useful card for a long time. The thing with Zaku is all it takes for him to not be a good card is for them to release a better aggro deck. And I don't know if they would do that, but it's always a possibility. So if there's a different, let's just say they make a new archetype. I don't know. Let's say the new Exia stuff happens to be really, really good aggro. I don't think it will be, but if that ends up being a better aggro deck, then this deck more than likely will just get kind of cast aside. It's usually how things go in card games. That being said, I personally, I did just buy. I had one of these, and I completed my set of these, and I also did just buy a set of Guntanks because I think it's a good time to buy these cards. I think they've been on the downward trajectory for a while, and this is why I notice these kind of things like this, and I'm putting out this little PSA is because I keep eyes on cards that I might be looking to buy, and let's see, as you can see, I got a bunch of different tabs, all kinds of different stuff. But so as you can see, if you were to have bought, well, even that, this card's been so steady for so long. There's other cards that have a better graph, but I don't know. I just got random tabs here pulled up. Oh, here's a good one. So if you were to buy the Grandpa Gundam LR Plus from the starter deck, around here, that would have been awesome. And he's just only been climbing. So that'll be typical for cards, for really good cards that do end up going up, is they will have a moment where they kind of bottom out for a little bit. And honestly, see, this one I missed. Where is it even at? Because I know there's a point that I saw some listed for like 55, and I was like, should I buy right now? I have 2 of these, but I would like to get 2 more. But anyway, and I didn't at the time. I think I had 1. Anyway, I'm on a bit of a tangent here. I'd like to track prices and keep an eye on things, and this one I just noticed. Actually, when I first noticed this, the only available listing was the 350 one. So all of a sudden one day I was just refreshing these pages, and I was like, $350, what in the hell? So yeah, it's definitely just someone manipulating the market, and it's going to be easy to do. Nobody's going to be able to do it on the Show of Resolve, because there's 48. I guess theoretically it's possible if somebody spent a lot of money, but there's 48 listings, and that's listings, so it's not even counting like somebody that actually all these people just have 1, but there might be somebody that has like 10 of them or whatever. So, and then like for example, on the lfrith, you can see where the last one like I said, was that 350 that I'm just going to call him the scammer, didn't buy that one. But all of these are actually non-verified stores or whatever they call it. They don't have the little special stamp next to them. So these are more than likely, these are individual sellers, especially these guys here for like 0% and whatever. I'm not saying that these guys are scamming or anything, but they're probably, you know, just, hey, I have this card and I want to put it up for sale and hopefully get 150 bucks out of it. So because of that, you know, there's some buyers that won't buy from non-verified stores. So again, it kind of even adds more quote unquote legitimacy to the 180 price. But I don't know, just something to keep out on, or keep an eye out on. And I don't know, I'm just up late rambling now because I found something and I just want to kind of let people know and make sure that people aren't overspending on cards. I think it's always, you know, it's always important to make sure you're getting a fair deal, make sure you're not getting swindled. Any of these cards that are going to be limited time things, like any of these championship cards, or for example, the new type challenge cards, you know, the Sauletta and whatever. Oh wow, Sauletta is actually dropping hard. Anyway, I want to pull this up. So we have 33 listings. Actually, you know what? That's a lot more than I thought it was going to be. This card, you know, I mean, the crazy numbers at the beginning were crazy, and I think everybody knows that. But then dropped down to about 100, and I almost bought some more of these at the time. And then, I mean, it was shooting up. Let's see. So when was the last one sold? Right there, maybe? Oh, right there. Early November, 170. And right now, you can buy them for 130. People are dropping hard on this card. That's crazy. Last one sold was actually 115. Wow, this card is seeing kind of a crazy fall off. Now that being said, personally, I do think it's a good idea to try to grab cards like these. I'm not saying that this is a good price, because like I don't know if I would. If I was at a shop, or let's say I was with a friend or someone I just met playing the game or whatever, and they had one and they were like, hey, I want to sell one for $100. I might buy one for $100. Even though I have one already. I don't know. I mean, these kind of cards, I mean, it's a gorgeous card, but over time, you know, they're just going to get harder and harder to find, I feel like, because they are fairly limited. And that's, again, why I wanted to go ahead and pick up my playset of the gun tanks and the zakus, because I think at least the gun tanks for sure, I'm going to be playing this card for a very long time. I think zaku, you know, Zeon's proven itself to be pretty resilient, and this is maybe the best one drop in the game, or the best 2-1, however you want to count it, in the game. So it's a very, very solid card, and so I want to go ahead and pick up those. I like to, you know, max out rarities and get pretty cards, and I know there's that other zaku coming out soon as well, but I'm going to be, I don't know, I'll be doing more videos as well. I got new type challenges coming out this weekend, so I'll definitely have videos on the reports of those. Hopefully they're good reports. I have 2 I think I'm doing this weekend, and I still don't know if I'm playing Zeon aggro or if I'm going to be playing a red-white deck. I'm going to, or who knows, maybe end up playing a red-blue. I've actually no idea. So I need to do a lot more testing, a lot more practice, and a lot more spying. An important part of competitive card playing is figuring out what the mass majority of people seem to be leaning towards. Because if it seems to be everybody wanting to play aggro, or if everybody's wanting to play blockers, that's going to make an adjustment on the deck that you pick, or maybe even just adjust how you build that deck that you're playing to favor that matchup. That's all I have for now, though. Thanks for hanging out with me as I record a video at 5 in the morning.